Oh, hey, it's your boy Tiki Andy. It's another amazing evening in the Moai Pakele. I'm glad you joined us today to make a little cocktail and have a drink with me. Cheers. So for today, I want to make us a pink lady. This is a delicious drink. People love it. It's fun to make. You get to shake it up a little bit. There's only 5 ingredients in this thing. They're relatively easy to find. You probably have a lot of them at your house already. So let's get into it. Let's make this awesome cocktail. Great fun to serve with your friends, serve at a nice little gathering. And it seems kind of bougie, so people will really dig it and think you really know what you're doing, even though you might just be an amateur bartender and having a good time with it. So let's get started. All right, so 5 ingredients. What you're gonna need is gin. So believe it or not all tiki drinks are made with rum. And this isn't necessarily a tiki drink. Any drink you serve at a tiki bar, or a bar with a blowfish, or a bar with a tiki mug, or just a bar with nice lighting can be a tiki bar. Whatever you wanna call it is your own. So do what you gotta do. So you need to start with gin. So gin is good. Tanqueray, Beefeaters, whatever you got, totally works. Seagram's, all the gins, it can work for you. Whatever you got, use it. The next one up, some lemon juice. As I always say, perfect substitute for fresh squeezed lemon juice and fresh squeezed lime and fresh squeezed orange is what you can find at your store. Not everybody has the time to do all the prep work that is necessary to have all the fresh ingredients, and I totally get that. I don't always as well, and when I'm serving cocktails just with my friends, if I've got the time, if I've had the time, if I'm not exhausted from working, then I'll squeeze all the stuff and have it fresh. But I don't always, and so this nice lemon juice will totally work for you, and you can find it at your store really easily. The next up, you need some Grenadine. That's what's gonna make it pink. Grenadine is the pomegranate syrup. It's not cherry. Some people think it is. You typically use that and seen it all throughout your childhood in Shirley Temples. Little 7-Up Grenadine, can't go wrong. Great for the kiddos to have around. So if you got a little 7-Up for them, a little Sprite, something fun, mix some Grenadine in it. They'll feel like they're having a cocktail with mom and dad or with all the friends that are out there hanging out with you, and they'll feel like part of the story. So that's really fun to have around. So you need some Grenadine to make it the pink lady. Next up, you need an egg white. So this is one of the ones that scares people off. I'm drinking an egg white? What's that mean? Is it cooked? Ew, like that sounds gross. But it's not gross. It actually is completely pasteurized, like you'd be drinking milk. It's as safe as that. What it does is adds a nice frothiness to the drink, gives it a really smooth texture, and adds that just delicious extra bit of flavor very lightly, but really it's about the texture of the drink. So you can crack an egg, you can do the whole yolk thing where you get the yolk out, save that later for making custard or whatever you want to do with a yolk. Then you can use the egg white in your drink, or you can buy egg beaters. This is what I did. It's just egg white in a nice little container where you can use it and pour it out and like use it as you need to. For a couple drinks that use egg whites. One of my favorites, a Ramos Gin Fizz, also uses egg white. Absolutely delicious. We'll make that in another video sometime. The last one you need, which might be a little hard to find, you probably don't have at your house at the moment, is Applejack Brandy. So I like this in this drink. It's got a nice apple flavor with the brandy, so it adds a little bit of the alcohol, the boozy part, but it's got a nice apple flavor to it. If you don't have access to this, you can absolutely substitute in pure apple cider. It's not gonna have quite the boozy flavor to it. It's gonna change it a little bit, but it's still gonna give that apple flavor that you really want in a pink lady. So let's get to mixing. So you need to have a shaker with a little bit of ice in it, and this is what's gonna start you off. So you want it a nice cold drink, but you don't wanna have the ice in the drink, because this is going to be served in a coupe glass. You've seen my videos, you know this is one of my favorites. You can also serve it in a martini glass, or you can serve it in any glass you got. It really doesn't matter. But what's important for this one is the drink itself is gonna be cold. You're not gonna have ice in your cup. So getting started here, what you're gonna kick it off with is 1.5 ounces of your gin. Now at home, you can measure your gin with a jigger. Awesome way to do it. Wonderful way. Should do it every time if you want a real consistency. I personally just like a free pour. Adds a little bit of difference to each one you make, just slightly, as long as you kind of know what you're doing and get the sense of how much goes into a pour. But it's a really fun way to do it for me that I make with my friends when I'm just hanging out at my bar and want to do it a little bit inconsistent to give it a little bit something different every time everybody tries one. So you've got your 1.5 ounces of gin. Everything else is pretty easy. You want 1/2 ounce. So you want 1/2 ounce of the Applejack brandy. You want 1/2 ounce of your lemon juice. You want 1/2 ounce of your grenadine. Gives it a nice pink color, adds a little sweetness to it. Then you want the equivalent of 1 egg's white. So I think that's about an ounce-wise pour in there. Top that bad boy off and get to shaking. Now, when you're shaking a cocktail like this, I've said it before in my videos, you've seen it already if you've been watching the channel, and I appreciate that very much. If you can, drop a like on this video, helps me out, really gets the channel going. I appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, but you like what you're seeing, hit the subscribe button too. Again, helps me out, really makes a difference to the videos. So thank you, and thank you to our subscribers, and thank you to the people that have already made the likes. So thank you very much. When you're shaking your cocktails, you just want to get it cold. And so you can shake the hell out of it, you do whatever you want. You can just shake it easily and mix it around like this. What you're looking for is the outside to be really, really cold. When you get that coldness and the condensation on there, you're probably done. If you're just looking for a time, because that helps you out, go for about 30 seconds. So I'm gonna give mine a nice big shake. So I get it nice and cold. Yeah. Now here's where you can start talking to your guests. You can have a good time with it. You can look really cool and do one of these. You can flip it around. Don't recommend that, as the top will go flying off and you'll have cocktail all over everything. But if that's your jam, you go nuts. Now for this one, you want to strain so the ice doesn't go in your glass. If you've got a shaker with a strainer, awesome. If you don't, you can crack this bad boy open and do that so you don't get the ice in your cup. I've got a strainer on mine, so I'm going to go ahead and strain that into my coupe glass. There we go. You've got a nice frothiness to it. You've got a beautiful pink color. And there you go. You have yourself a pink lady. Cheers to that. Have a good time. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a sip with me. Oh, that's so good. Sweet, appley, grenadine-y, and that smooth frothiness from the egg. Have a good one. Thanks for joining Tiki Andy and the Moai Ipakele. I'll see you again at the next one.